All right, folks. Welcome back to the Night's Watch. I'm Jacob,
I'm Alex.
and Alex. In the interest of having some organic conversation, I'm going to ambush you with a question here.
Oh no.
It's not. We're not. We will talk about the Knights. We'll talk about the games that we played, and we'll look ahead at the schedule and all that stuff. But right now, there's a team I want to talk to you about. It's a Western Conference team. It's not Nashville. It's not Edmonton. It's not the Avs. It's the Winnipeg Jets.
Golly, it's the Winnipeg Jets. That's all I gotta say. It's like you say with the President's potential, the way they're going, they're likely going to win the President's Trophy. But President's Trophy's teams don't win cups. But man, just so far they've won 14 out of 15.
They're the first team in NHL history to win. So they're off to a better start than that Boston team.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Here's the difference, though, between that and that Boston team. This Jets team actually has no glaring issues.
It really doesn't.
They score. They defend. Connor Hellebuck's incredible.
Best goalie in the world.
Period.
I think we just end that debate right now.
It's no contest.
Not Shesterkin, not Vasilevsky. It's Connor Hellebuck.
Connor Hellebuck's American.
Team America.
That Four Nations is going to be fucking... Oh, you see, Four Nations, December 4th.
Yep.
Rosters are going to be released, so we'll have to talk about that when it comes out. But Connor Hellebuck, good God. He had one goal from having 3 shutouts in a row.
Yeah.
He's been so good. I think the only hope for anybody in the playoffs is that he falls apart like he has. But he might be a man fucking possessed to...
Yeah, and honestly... You look around the West and who's really going to stop them? I like to say it'd be us, but
who have they?
Colorado.
They played a good amount of teams at this point. They played Colorado, they beat Colorado, but Colorado's so weak.
Well, that's what I mean. It's like they've gathered all this strength, and their enemies have also collapsed at the same time.
I think at most who could beat Winnipeg is probably Dallas or us.
Well, Dallas just got smoked by them.
It's true. But it's the regular season.
Did you see the crowd was chanting at Ottinger when he got pulled? They just said, U.S. backup.
Yeah.
Which is hilarious, but at the same time, I'm like, Team Canada wish they had
They
Jake
wish
Ottinger.
they had. I was listening to the last episode of Empty Netters, and they were going through their potential as of today Four Nations rosters, and they were like, no, it wasn't Empty Netters, it was Bar Down.
Oh, okay.
Bar Down had a little podcast about, they're 30-40 minute clip of it, and they're going through Canada. They're like, this is the weakest position in the entire fucking match, of all four. And all four nations, this is the weakest group. And then they go to the United States last, and they get the goalies, and they're just like, what do we even say? This is disgusting. And they're right. Yeah, it's gonna be Otter's gonna be the backup, but goddamn, is that a great backup? And who's probably gonna be number 3? Probably Jake Swayman.
Yeah. Not exactly.
That's fucking insane to me, dude.
There are guys for America that won't make the team that Canada would kill to have.
Yeah. Because the Canada team is probably Binner for sure, and then Logan Thompson, Aiden Hill,
yep,
Marc-Andre Fleury. I love Aiden Hill. Hey, I met Aiden Hill today. I took a picture with him at downtown Summerlin. Guys, he's a super quiet, super nice guy, but nothing against Aiden Hill, but man, Canadian goaltending is nothing compared to American goaltending.
Yep.
Yeah, Aiden Hill won a cup. I love Aiden Hill. Love him. Deeply love Aiden Hill. But in a tournament like that, you got Hellebuck, Otter, Swayman. Demko hasn't even played a game yet, but if he's healthy, Demko.
Yeah.
Then
the downfall of Canadian goaltending needs to be studied.
Yeah, it's they didn't they focus on forward play and defensive development, which is fine, but even then,
someone's got to tend the goal eventually.
But the top 3 forwards in the league would probably be Canadian, right?
Yeah,
I would say it's McDavid, McKinnon. I wouldn't say number 3. I put Kaprizov as number 3.
Yeah.
So you got Russians behind him, and Eichel in the top 10 for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So they focused on forwards, but even in defense, man, I don't know.
They got Makar,
but we've got Brock Faber and McCarr's great. Don't get me wrong. He's incredible. But we've got Faber and Carlson and Hannafin and Hughes and Quinn Hughes, Luke Hughes. And
it's funny. I meant to turn this into a Jets discussion, but now I'm like, fuck the Jets. Let's talk about foreign nations. But no, I just think
Kyle Connor.
Exactly. Yeah, there we go. I think the Americans are just deeper.
Deeper. I agree. Deeper and like more grit overall. Yeah. I know we'll talk about it more once it gets closer, but like it's funny because like the Jets are like, we're so deep and we're so good. I'm like, brought to you by American hockey. Like I know Josh Morrissey's Canadian, and I think he deserves more praise than he gets. But he's been so good. The Jets have been just so good. We play them right before Thanksgiving, right? That's going to be but then it's going to be the hardest game we've probably played, period. Going into us, since this is a Golden Knights podcast, that game against the Oilers, we're like, oh man, it's going to be either a tight game or it's going to be a fucking crazy scoring game. And you know what? It was a tight game. Both goaltenders played extremely well.
Yeah.
Like, Aiden Hill had a great game. Stuart Skinner had a great game, too. We pulled out, and, one of those goals on Hill was fucking ridiculous off the boards. Like, the way it bounced off the boards.
That's what was killing me. Because we watched that game together.
Yeah.
And I think I said out loud, but I was like, what's killing me is, like, when there was a point when we were down, I'm like, what's killing me is that we're playing well. It really did feel like it was just
puck luck.
Yeah, because that weird bounce off the boards, which put the puck right into, I forgot whose hands, like right in front of the net. And then the other one was like a deflection inside of the crease. I'm like, well, who the fuck's gonna stop that?
No, no one's gonna stop that. And Aiden Hill played a great game, and then the team around him played really well. And then we won 4-2, but Mark Stone did pick up something.
I
just don't know what it is. Like, did he twist something? I think on the empty netter, I think McDavid did catch him on the knee.
He did a little bit, but it wasn't very hard.
Yeah.
I think, what my pessimist side is saying is that it might be his back, because they called it a lower body injury.
Still could be his back. Yeah.
There's one thing with back injuries. It doesn't always manifest as back pain. It can manifest in
like sciatica. And
like shooting pains in your limbs or numbness in your limbs or.
Yeah. I'm just hoping it's just like a soreness thing. He's been playing a lot. Mark Stone has been playing a ton.
Yeah, and playing very well.
I'm hoping it's like a couple games where it's like, okay, just a tweak here and there. But again, with the NHL and especially with this team, fucking nothing.
Well,
we still don't know what Olofsson's fucking injury is. Just lower body.
Yeah, and then Eichel missed practice today. They called it a maintenance day.
I hope it's a maintenance day.
The last thing that they called a maintenance day was William Karlsson, and he was out of the lineup for 6 weeks.
Yeah,
that was a maintenance day.
We can't afford that right now. I mean, we can technically afford it right now, right?
I don't know, man. I feel like even in the Seattle game, it wasn't awful, but I mean that second period was awful because we went like we had like 2 shots in the period.
Yeah,
and I was like,
we had nothing.
One thing is always self-evident that this team's offense just fucking dies when Stone's not there.
That's true.
Even with Eichel and all the talent,
Stone's such a driver.
He is the engine of this team.
I will say in that Kraken game, I know we lost in overtime. We got a point. Take the point. We had 1 point less than we could have gotten in that entire road trip, which is great. Wah looked really good.
Yes.
On that top line. He scored, and then he made a killer pass to... Was that Wah that made the pass to Dorofiev?
I don't remember.
Whoever, I think it was Wah, but killer play, killer passing play. Their passing looked crisp and looked good. I just think there were 2 to 3 goals that Seattle scored that they shouldn't have, and it was nothing against Aiden Hill. It was goals that we just let break down in front of us.
Yeah.
And Aiden Hill had a decent game, and he had a good. And I'm not saying this because I saw him today, but Aiden Hill had a decent game, and it was just like breakdowns from the defense. Like that first tandem goal, like what was McNabb doing? And then the second tandem goal, again, what was the defense doing? Like it was just defensive breakdowns that we have to fix.
You know what's hilarious is that Brandon Tanev gets...
Brandon Tanev is incredible.
Well, I was going to say, he gets odd man rushes like once a fucking game because he's so fast.
So fast.
But he is so fucking bad at scoring. He literally never scores on those plays ever.
And he scores
it's
on us.
I say it's like a running joke with the Kraken fans that like, oh, yeah, there he goes. And went wide, didn't even get it on net or whatever. And of course, when they play us, that's the one he fucking sinks.
Right. But, Tanev had a good game. The Kraken overall had a pretty good game. They needed it. They were.
I was gonna say,
they were on a 4-game losing streak.
Yeah, they lost. They lost 7 out of their last 8.
They've been
terrible. Fucking awful.
They beat Montreal like 8-2.
And let's be real here. Seattle, they have this very one-sided rivalry with us in their mind, where they're like, oh yeah, Vegas is our rivals, and we hate Vegas. Fuck Vegas.
Nope.
And I'm just like, I posted a meme on our account.
The meme from Mad Men.
Yeah. I feel sorry for you. Well, I don't think about you at all.
No, it's like
because their overall record is like what, like 10-2 or something. Or
10-2-1 now, yeah. I think. And we've only lost. I think in Seattle.
No, actually, because we lost here because that was a game.
Oh yeah, that's right. That
was a game that I went to with my dad and Rebecca.
That's right.
Right before Thanksgiving or Thanksgiving.
Yeah, we lost one here and they lost the Winter Classic and
that was literally it. And then this one just now.
Yeah, it's like it's a San Jose but like less games. Where like San Jose and Vegas have a rivalry. I'm like, it's
not anymore.
Not really.
Not
it was the players. Like it was Marc-Andre Fleury and Ryan Reeves wanted to fucking take their skates off and stab Evander Kane in the neck every game.
As they should. As they should.
Whereas like the record against the Sharks right now is like insanely like lopsided for us. Like it's an incredible number. Similar to the Sharks. Similar to the Kraken.
And then they always go back to game 7. And then now my reply is, well, win a cup, bitch.
Yeah, guess who won a cup before you? We did.
That was your cup. Our cup was an actual cup.
Fuck off. Whose name's engraved on the Stanley Cup?
Not Evander Kane's.
Mark Stone, Jack Eichel.
Not Joe Pavelski.
Not Brent Burns.
Nope.
Not Joe Thornton or
Kevin
LeBlanc or Logan Couture or anybody on those teams. But most of all those Vegas guys are on
Erik Karlsson.
Erik Karlsson's not going to fucking win a cup.
Nope. Yeah, Pittsburgh's been shit. Wasn't planning on talking about it, but goddamn.
Yeah, but like, no, it's the rivalries that like they try to push up. Like Kraken and us should be a rivalry in theory because we're the both newest teams and we're both in the Pacific. Mm-hmm. We just own that series outright. Maybe in the future as Seattle maybe gets better and they get better players and we go on that downturn that should happen with every franchise. The rivalry will change, but then again, with the Sharks, even when they were good, we beat them.
Yeah, I think pretty consistently.
I think our rivals are number 1 the Oilers and number 2 the Kings.
Probably, yeah.
And then the Stars are up there just because of what we've gone through with them in the playoffs and how hard those games are and how difficult getting past them are. Period. But I do think Oilers and the Kings are like 1 and 2. You can interchange them any given night. Whereas but again, where the Sharks are like, I'm not mad at the Sharks now. It's a bunch of fucking 18-year-olds.
Here's the thing with the Sharks. Yeah, my thing with the Sharks is I feel like I still hate them though. To me that's part of a rivalry.
I don't hate the team. I hate their fans, dude.
And that's what I mean. Like I feel like part of a rivalry, you can't get too logical about it. You just have to follow your gut. Yeah. That's why I say Edmonton because I hate them so fucking much, and every Vegas fan I've ever met despises them.
I hate them.
But with the Sharks, it's like same thing. Like, yeah, we have a very lopsided record. They haven't been a serious threat in a long time.
It's just you hate them.
Yeah, like I see a Sharks jersey and I have like a visceral reation. I'm like, if someone walked into the brewery with a Sharks jersey on, I'd be like, get the fuck out.
Yeah, exactly. Take your colors off.
Take off your colors if you want to walk through here.
It's like our friend Mike, if he's listening to this, calling him out. he likes to talk shit with the Padres. It's a Dodgers Padres thing. Where it's like we hate the Dodgers and the Padres hate each other in baseball, hate each other. But the Padres haven't won any World Series, haven't really been remotely successful, and the Dodgers won a World Series, and
again,
8 times.
Wow,
8 times, but Padres have won 0. It's kind of like that lopsided thing, but still the players just don't like each other. The cities don't like each other. And I think it mainly boils down to the players not liking each other, and I think that's why it's such.
That's always the nugget. Starts.
I think that's why the rivalries transferred so well to LA and the Oilers versus like staying with the Sharks, because like no one's there in the Sharks anymore.
Yeah,
it's Macklin Celebrini, Will Smith, and Shaquille Muladin, and all these young guys, and then Logan Couture is barely playing, or
he hasn't played a game this year. I don't think he's going to play again.
And then Kevin LeBlanc plays for somebody else now. I don't even know, but like,
yeah, I think. Well, there's 2 things that I think the average Vegas fan hates. One is California.
True.
And then one is Canada. And
yes,
because I think it's because locals typically hate California, and I'm not gonna say it's a political thing. I feel like people try to turn it into that now.
Yeah,
I think it's just like an innate dislike for each other.
Yeah. I mean, I like going to California. Yeah, I like going to the beaches and hanging out in San Diego and going like shit in LA. But like the people, sometimes I'm just like,
yeah, they're assholes.
What the fuck is wrong with them? Why are you dicks?
They also can't drive.
Oh yeah, no, 100% the reason why Vegas traffic is so fucking bad. We got a ton of California drivers that moved here and they don't know what the fuck to do.
I was saying that's the other thing too, is they also fucking destroyed our housing market by flooding over the border and buying up everything.
The houses that are right behind me that look like shit, are going for fucking $500,000.
God. Yeah, and some asshole from California is going to show up. He's going to buy it in cash. He's like, "Wow, that's the cheapest house I've ever seen.
Yeah,
I'd have to pay twice as much in California." Anyway, point being, the average Las Vegan hates California and California drivers. You see California plates on the street and you
my god, yeah, literally
start spitting.
We were driving today and some car fucking cut us off and just driving like an asshole, and it says California, and I go, I'm like, well, he's retarded, so.
So I have a deep hatred for all 3 California teams.
Yes.
And then I think more specific to hockey, everyone hates the Canadian teams because they are the definition of the establishment.
Yeah.
The people that busted our balls the most when we came into the league.
Totally. Agreed.
The snobbiness, the standoffishness. And everyone's like, well, Canadians are so nice. No, they're not.
No, they're not.
They're assholes.
They're as much of assholes as we are, like, as Americans.
You know why I'll always hate fucking Edmonton? Well, that's the thing, too. They travel so well, so they take over the arena. And I saw this video that I'll never fucking forget where after Edmonton beat us in one game, Vegas fans were coming down the escalators and the stairs in T-Mobile. There was a mob of fucking Edmonton fans at the base of this steps going, shame, shame, shame. I was like, oh, you fuckers, you dirty fuckers.
That was the playoffs.
I don't remember. It must have been.
Pretty sure that was the divisional against us in Edmonton.
Well, how did that end? That's all I got to say.
4-2.
So yeah, fucking, you're right. I hate Edmonton. I hate the California teams.
Yeah.
And LA is like the only like relevant one. Mm-hmm. So I think it's natural to
hate the Oilers more.
I think it's natural to put the target on LA's back.
It's the funny thing too. Like, I don't hate Vancouver or Calgary as much. Like, I should, right?
When they get good and when we face each other, you will.
Vancouver is solid, but they're not like dominant, right?
Yeah,
like,
they've kind of been mid so far.
And then Calgary's on the downswing, even though they had a hot start of the season.
I did have a pretty intense hatred of Calgary for a while.
Oh, when they were good,
when they had Tkachuk and Johnny Gaudreau, rest in peace.
They were so good. That team was. They had Gaudreau, again, R.I.P., but Gaudreau, Tkachuk, Lindholm, Hanifin, and that defense was so good. It was Hanifin, Anderson, Tanev.
Yep.
And with Markstrom, that team is really good. And, your rivalry and your hatred is because that team is really good.
And there was a couple years there where it felt like we were taking turns being. Like 1 year we were the top of the division, the next year they would be the top, and then we kind of flip flop, and then they kind of fell off. Turns out, being a hick town in Canada, you kind of have a hard time retaining talent.
Yeah, but you know what's the whole thing that cracks me up with the Calgary fans is that I've seen some stuff like on, popular just like general hockey boards or like even on Reddit where like some Vegas like topic will come up or something will be there and Calgary fans like, are you guys all retarded? I'm like, when did we have friends in Calgary? It's because of the shared hatred of the Edmonton Oilers.
Agreed.
I think that's like totally what it is.
Sometimes, yeah, you get strange bedfellows at times.
Yeah, it's because
even with LA, like there have been LA fans I talked to about Edmonton. I'm like, you get it.
Yeah, no, like we're rivals with LA, but like we all hate one team in our division together.
Yeah,
we have a collective hatred of one team because of the way fucking the media. In sportscasts and everything like, oh, it's Edmonton, they're gonna do everything.
You know, it's really hilarious, and this is kind of like a microcosm of how hockey media works in general. Yeah. We started out this conversation talking about the Jets and this historic run, and about 2 minutes in, we started talking about literally everyone else but them.
The Jets. But back to the Jets. I'm so sorry for the Jets. I actually don't mind the Jets or their fans. I think I love how much they love that team.
I like beating them.
I like beating them too. Like, I like that. Like I don't mind their team. You know what I mean? Like they're a hard out and they're a team that's hard to play against. But I don't mind anybody on that team at all.
And I can kind of admire.
Yeah, totally.
A small shit splat town like Winnipeg. No offense.
But having such like a fervor,
having a fervor to the degree that they can support an NHL team.
Yeah, totally.
I know we make fun of them for their attendance issues, but I have a funny feeling they're not having those right now.
No, that team is insane, dude. Like, Kyle Connor is scoring. Scheifele's doing well.
Here,
Josh Morrissey's insane.
Let me throw some stats at you. So they've played 15 games, right? Mark Scheifele, 7 goals, 12 assists, 19 points. Kyle Connor, 9 goals, 10 assists, 19 points. Nikolai Ehlers, 9 goals, 9 assists, 18 points.
Ehlers has put to bed that fucking trade rumor.
Morrissey, 16 points. Pionk, 14 points. Perfetti, 13 points. Velarde, 13 points. Niederreiter, 12 points. Let's see, they have...
And that's just it's a team that's so deep, but like...
They have 11 players with double-digit points.
Yeah?
And they have 3 players that are at minus. Everyone else is a plus.
It's probably 3 players that don't play a lot. Like,
yeah, it is Campari, Barron, and Gustafson.
Guys that aren't playing a ton amount of time. Like,
oh, I didn't know this is where Hayden Fleury ended up.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
But like again, that team's got a good coach. It's got a good makeup. It's got a good defense. It's got a good goaltending.
They're just buzzing.
They're buzzing. Like,
and to me,
I feel like this team is different than Boston, if that makes sense. I know it's early. Again, it's still early. We haven't even met Thanksgiving yet. Who knows what's going to go on the next?
I feel like when a team hits a run like this, it almost can't be stopped. Yeah. And sometimes
I agree.
A lot of it's just pure vibe and pure confidence. Because let's be real, even the shittiest NHL team has serious talent on it. You know.
Yeah, it's like that. It's like that thing where it's like the worst NBA player will still fucking absolutely destroy.
Yeah.
The best your best rec player or wherever it is. The worst NHL player will absolutely fucking body any A-League, B-Leaguer. It's like on Empty Netters, they have Nate Thompson on all the time. Mm-hmm. And they're like, Nate, you should suit up again, play some beer leagues team. He's like, I don't know, man. Where would I play? I don't know if I'd be able to crack the team. And they both go, you'll be 1C.
Yeah,
you played in the NHL. You'll be 1C.
Another podcast that I listen to, Dropping the Gloves with John Scott. John Scott's probably in his early 50s, late 40s.
He's older, yeah.
Got gray hair, gray beard. Mm-hmm. And he was saying the other day, he's like, I'm basically just like a men's league mercenary. Like, I just show up to a team for a year, we fucking sweep everyone, and then I go to a new team.
Yeah.
Like,
if he played in the NHL,
and he was an enforcer when he did play. Like, he wasn't like known for his skill.
He wasn't like a top end guy.
He's still immediately the best. The best hockey player on these teams.
That's what I mean.
Kids that are 30 years younger than him.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, it's the talent levels like so far and in between, and then you look at like teams like with the Jets, like the talent level is just so far above.
Even between leagues, because I just saw Tristan Jarry went back to Pittsburgh and like, oh yeah, he had a 926 whatever in Wilkes-Barre. I'm like, well, yeah, because fucking
it's the A.
It's the A, but like that's what I mean. It's like even the gap between the A and the NHL can be so wide.
Yeah, totally. Yeah,
and then the 100%. NHL to just fucking men's league.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's like it goes like in the world. It's like the NHL, the AHL, maybe the KHL, and then right behind it's like the SHL.
Mm-hmm.
And then, all those fucking, like, UK and German leagues and everything like that.
Yeah.
And then at the very bottom is the best men's league possibly
exactly
in the States.
Yeah, I would agree. It's probably NHL. Then I think KHL and AHL are probably comparable.
Well, no, they the Swedish. There was a thing where, like, a year ago where they, like, were, like, tracking the talent, and it turned out, like, the AHL was overall better than the KHL.
That makes sense, yeah.
It makes total sense.
Maybe not a 1-for-1, but as a comparable, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're probably somewhere between the A and then like the Swedish league. I think the Swedish Pro League is a little underrated.
It is. I 100% agree.
But they also have a lot of young.
They've got some great talent coming out of like Carl Lindblom and
exactly. But yeah, man, fucking Jets, wagon. I'm at the point where I'm like, I'm not going to question it. I'm just going to accept it. They're going to win the win their division. They're going to win the conference.
I think they're going to win the Central easily, and I think they'll win the conference unless we go on a heater. They'll win the conference by a solid 5 points, 6 points.
Easy. So I'll go ahead and crown them now.
Yeah, they're so good.
Another player on that team, fucking Mark Scheifele, dude. He's so underrated.
100%.
I feel like people just like forget about him because he's like an unlikable weirdo in real life. But he is so fucking elite. Like,
yeah, no, he's great.
Like creme de la creme of like fucking
everything you want.
Our first line centers. But somehow he's never at the top of anyone's list. He's kind of slips by.
Yeah,
realistically, I think he could probably be in that top 10 discussion. I don't have the names in front of me, but
he should be on Team Canada without a question.
Yeah, he has a nasty fucking shot. Nasty shot. He can skate. He's big.
The fact that
playmaking.
The fact that someone would consider Connor Bedard over Mark Scheifele is
pure
insane
fucking
to me.
publicity. Here's the thing. I'm very excited for the Four Nations, but
100%.
I will admit that there will probably be roster moves because it's an NHL tournament.
Yep.
That will be in the interest of eyeballs on screens.
Yeah.
And one of those, I think, will be Connor Bedard being on that team when he honestly has no business being on that team.
No.
But the next year, the Olympics, that's when we're going to see the real teams. The real teams.
The real team.
Brad Marchand is not going to be in the Olympics.
No, not a chance. It's going to be Mark Scheifele. Like, Mark Scheifele deserves 100% to be on the Canadian team, as does
Theodore.
Kyle Connor 100% deserves to be on the American team. I think that's without question.
I know I stole it from Dan on Empty Netters, but that's why that first line, I love that first line that he put together so much. Matthew Tkachuk, Jack Eichel, Kyle Connor.
It's disgusting.
Unstoppable, dude. Unstoppable.
Yeah, like I do think that. Yeah, I know we keep bouncing back and forth between topics. But
Alex, we're talking here, buddy. Yeah. We're talking.
But like
conversational. That's the tone.
The Jets, I think we've said it quite a few times in the last, obviously this podcast is very young, but in the last few years since Vegas has been an entity, I think the Jets still have and still do have the best chance of ever winning a cup.
Oh yeah, not fucking Edmonton.
No, it's the Jets. The Jets have the best chance of winning a cup. Period.
Yeah, if anyone's going to bring the cup back to Canada, it will be Winnipeg.
It'll be Winnipeg. It's not going to be Calgary. It's not going to be Edmonton. It's not going to be for sure. Shit, not going to be Toronto. It's not going to be Ottawa. It's going to be Winnipeg. And everybody's like, "Oh, what happened? How did Winnipeg win a cup?" I'm like, have you seen their roster construction over the last fucking few years?
No, yeah, and their GM, Shovel Dayoff, he needs to be given some serious credit.
They got fucking Alex Iafallo,
Gabe
Velarde for fucking PLD now,
and
PLD,
Campari, who's been on their roster,
and PLD's now in fucking Washington.
Yeah, and I haven't looked at his numbers. I'm sure he's doing fine.
It's all right, but like
the point being, they won that trade.
Yeah, 100%, because
and everyone's like, well, they let go of Patrick Laine. Well, what has Patrick Laine done since? Nothing.
Be injured,
and also be bad when he's not injured.
But yeah, but Patrick Laine just wasn't good.
Yep.
He hasn't played at all for Montreal, but
who is dog shit, by the way.
Terrible.
A lot of people were saying they weren't going to be. Nope, they are.
William Nylander fucking walking Lane Hudson and the entire team the other night.
What Lane Hudson should have done was done a head fake.
Head fake William Nylander and playing defense.
Use the head fake. I know he didn't have the puck, but head fake anyway.
Team's actually not good. But speaking of a team that's been very good, and you know what this podcast is all about, is the Vegas Golden Knights. We talked a little bit about the scores earlier. Had a great game against Edmonton, 4-2, with one of those being an empty netter, but had a great close game, a game that you need to have as a close game like that.
Yeah, but then I would say we followed it up with a not so good game against Seattle.
Yeah, but then again, I would argue that Seattle was desperate to win a game, and they had to win a game. If they didn't win that first game back at home on a long homestand, it was not going to set the tone at all.
Yeah,
for that homestand, because I think they're at home for like fucking a week, like 7 games or
something crazy. And then they also had their, which something I kind of wish we would do. They had their little like internal all-star thing. Where
I saw that. That's pretty cool.
Exhibition.
But that was with Phil. Did you see that picture of Philipp Grubauer?
No.
So he was out because of like an at-home injury, and then a picture was posted, and dude, his nose like had stitches all up the side of his nose, around his nose to his cheeks. He had like black eyes, like scars across his face.
Jesus.
And so apparently the rumor going around on Kraken subreddit is that he got like bit by a horse.
Bit
in the face by a horse.
Jesus.
Apparently the guy has horses wherever he's living in Seattle, and he
Majestic.
But like it looked fucking bad, dude.
Jesus.
Like, because I know what you're talking about, because it was a picture of him, but on the jumbotron it said Team Grubauer or Team Gru and Team Decord.
Oh, okay.
And it was like what you're talking about, like the skills competition. But I had his picture, and he looked fucking rough. Like he looked like he got bit by a fucking like a pit bull or some shit like that.
When you were describing the injury, I was like, "Oh my god, did he get into a bar fight?"
No, it was like his
drank a little too much of that German beer.
Obviously, we don't have video on this podcast, but it was like you have to see the photo. But it was like you could see the stitches go under his nose, around his nose. You see the scars going across his cheeks.
Jesus.
Both eyes were like purple, like healing. You could tell.
I gotta fucking.
You've got to look this.
Shit.
You got go to our hockey. It's on there, but like he looked like he got fucked up, and that's why it was like an at-home injury supposedly. But that's a fun little thing to do. I think we should do that more.
Yeah, that'd be fun. I'd go to that.
100%.
See who on the team has the hardest shot or is the fastest.
Yeah, it's a fun little thing.
Does the most whatevers.
I would argue hardest shot on the team right now. Whoops.
Nick Hague.
Nick Hague for sure.
Holtz has a heavy shot.
I'm gonna say Nick
Schwint has a heavy shot.
Dorfiev's got a great shot. He's beaten a lot of guys. I know you made that prediction. You were kind of sour on it as we've gone on, but can we talk about Pavel Dorfiev?
He's been good.
He's been good. He's been beyond good. He's been great. He's got like 9 goals in 14 games.
Let's check it out.
Something insane, dude. Like,
I'll use the handy dandy brand new VGK app.
The VGK app that's fucking 100 times better than the NHL app. The shitty, fucking terrible NHL app.
Pavel Dorofeev has 8 goals, 3 assists, 11 points
in 14 games.
Mm-hmm.
8 goals, damn. So that's on track for what?
He is 5th on the team.
50-something goals?
Yeah, he is 5th on the team in scoring right now.
Damn.
Behind,
and he's only got
behind Hurdle in the first line, guys.
He's only got 1 less goal than Barbie does.
Yep. Yeah, he's looked really good,
dude.
And
like
he's looked
unbelievable.
And I feel like he's creating offense. He's not just camping on the power play and waiting for the puck to come to him. Like he's creating his own opportunities.
He is on track for 46 goals.
I'll take it.
Even if he just continues this quiet pace of not a goal per game, not doing crazy, he could be a 40 goal scorer.
I feel like that's kind of been the MO, the second line right now is,
dude, totally.
They're not like popping off like in a way where it's going to like
it's quiet.
It's going to go viral and be like, oh my God, have you seen how crazy this line has been?
No.
But they've been playing a lot of minutes. They've been having a lot of really hard matchups, but they're still producing.
Right.
And they're quietly producing at this rate where if they keep it up at the end of the year, I'm like, holy shit, that was a great second line.
What happens when, we roll into the end of the year, and I hope we make the playoffs, but you have 2 40 goal scorers in Barbie and Dorofiev.
I know, yeah.
Even if you have 2 30 goal scorers in Barbie and Dorofiev, that's incredible.
Yeah.
Like that's something that's not talked about a lot is that like no one.
Well, that's not as good as Edmonton was that last year when Zach Hyman had fucking 100 points.
We have the most goals scored, most goals for in the league, but we don't have a high expected goals for percentage, which is meaning that we have a great when we need to score, we score. We're not depending on puck luck. We're not depending on
the way that they're creating offense and creating those opportunities. I'm like, yeah, it kind of tracks that we have that number or that we have a high PDO or whatever. Because I'm like, I feel like a lot of people are like, oh, you can't keep shooting at that percentage. I'm like, well, it's not like we're getting lucky on breakaways or whatever.
We're not. We're having set plays and set passing plays.
And it's opportunities that come after you break down the defense and you have the goalie moving. And yeah, of course he's sinking all the shots because they've all been empty net tap-ins because the team grinded the other team down.
Dude, there's some plays and some sequences where you watch like the fourth line just dismantle another team's first line.
Oh, yeah.
Like against Seattle. I know we lost that game, but Schwint, Colasar
was really good,
and Reinberg was in that game.
Mm-hmm.
They were playing great. Colasar and Schwint have been incredible this season, and Colasar has been really, really good, and he's been good in both areas of the zone. Schwint's been great. Wad now he's up with the first line because of Stone's day to day, but Wad centering that fourth line's been electric.
Oh yeah,
the third line's been great and been selective. The third line moves a little slower, but it's more cerebral, right? Because Carlson is a very smart center, and he knows positioning. He knows where his teammates at, and he knows Holtz is going to be somewhere in that middle part that he's going to fucking scream a shot somewhere. But Pearson's also got a really good shot on his own.
Pearson's been great, and he plays a style that I think complements that line really well.
And and then the second line, good God, the second line, like. Maybe outside of the Jets, maybe the best second line in the league. Like,
I mean, yeah, they've been, like I said, they've been producing.
They've been the best line. They've been overall all 3 players. I love Jack Eichel, and I know Eichel and Stone and Barbie have been scoring, which is what you want. But man, that second line might be the best line on the team right now.
To me, it's just it's what you want to have. You want to have 2 options because if one dries up, you can count on the other one.
There is some series of plays against Seattle. I know we didn't convert too. Like we were trying to convert, but probably, just happens. Decord's a good goalie. Joey's a great goalie. Not even a good goalie. Joey Decord's a great goalie. But there is a couple plays where I don't know if you were watching. I know you're doing a few things, but there's a play where they try to get a puck out and Hurdle just taps it down right before the blue line, and it's right back in. I'm like, oh God.
I think right now, because I think that whole line is like a minus right now. But I think
it's out there so much.
Exactly. I'm like, I think it's a classic case. I'm like, yeah, but also check the ice time. They're out there like half the fucking game
because they're cruising. They're a hard line to play against.
Exactly.
You've got the size of Hurdle and the forechecking Hurdle. But then you've got the fucking speed and forecheck ability of Howden, and then Dory's just sitting there like, I'm ready to crank this shit straight into the net.
And that's the thing I've been wanting to bring up with you as well is that I think I've noticed last few games, I think the other teams are starting to key on Dorofiev more, probably because they have tape and they're like, oh yeah, by the way, this
kid's got a shot. Yeah.
No one's talking about him, but this kid's a fucking huge threat.
Oh yeah.
But even then, like he's elevated his game to a point where, like I said,
the goals he scored, like. The goal he scored against the Kraken, whether it was Wah or somebody else. But it was a pass, and then Wah. The pass was disgusting. Across the crease, nobody was there, and not Hurdle. I'm sorry, Dory was just like just popped it in.
Yeah,
but he is in the right place at all times.
Yeah,
he's
and
never in a scoring situation. He's never out of position.
And like I said, he's also finding ways to generate offense.
Yeah.
I don't remember if it was the Seattle game or the Edmonton game, and I don't think it ended in a goal. But there was this play where he just showed like what insane puck possession he how strong he is on the puck.
He's small, but he's so strong.
I know
on the
it's
puck.
very deceptive, but like, yeah, he's basically
he's
just
not
like
a big guy. Yeah,
he forced his way through the defenders, held onto the puck all the way to the net, and he got a shot off, and it was a really dangerous chance. Didn't go in, but just the fact that he created that chance, I was like, God damn.
That's what I mean. And then when people talk about, it's like Vegas doesn't develop their prospects. I'm like, no, they do. They develop the prospects with the prospects that work the hardest.
They do, and
Dory has worked so hard to get to where he's at, and he's showing he can do. Cotter worked very hard to get to where he was at, but he got traded to the Devils. He's playing great with New Jersey right now.
Yeah,
he's
and
really, really good.
One thing that I love that we do that other teams don't is we don't just throw fucking 18, 19-year-olds into the lineup.
Straight in the lineup. You can't. You can't.
This was a really good insight from the VGK Insider Show, but they were talking about prospects, and they're talking about McCrimmon and McPhee, and the word that they use that I guess McPhee uses a lot is he's like I want to overcook my prospects.
Yes.
He's like, I want them to be playing in the AHL until they're like 22, 23, and then go into the NHL.
I'm perfectly okay with that. And I think that's something that a lot of GMs are starting to learn. Like look at, I mean, not to cut you off, like when you're going to say that, but like look at Leo Carlson.
Yeah, exactly.
They can't. Pat Verbeek said, I'm not playing him all year. I will not play him all year. I will bench him. I will scratch him. I will put him in the AHL. I'll do whatever I want to do with this player because I do not want to overwork him. And he's playing more this year. You know what? He looks really fucking good.
Another
Will
example. I was going to say, remember the whole drama with Askarov in the off season and how he wanted to play, and then
you don't need to play him that much.
Yeah, and then Trotz said he's going to be ready when he's ready. He's like, not when the internet says he's ready, not when Sportsnet says he's ready.
Yeah,
he'll be ready when he's ready.
He's only 22, 23 years old.
Yeah, and then he got moved to San Jose, which is awful, and you think, oh, okay, it was immediately the starter. Nope, got sent down to the AHL almost immediately because he wasn't ready.
Playing with Barracuda, and you don't need him to be ready like that early. Speaking of the Sharks, like I just said, Will Smith, they literally, Mike Greer said, we are going to cycle Will Smith in. We're not going to make him play all year. And that's what they're doing.
Yep.
And people are like, Will Smith got scratched. I'm like, Mike Greer literally said he is going to bench him because he does not want to overwork an 18-year-old.
Yeah.
The same thing with Matt Michkov. John Tortorella and the GM.
Well, no, Alex Tortorella is just an evil old man, and these evil old coaches they hate offensive young players. They just hate them.
No, they totally hate him.
He scratched him because he hates him.
But Torts and Danny Briere both said we are not going to make him play every single game, especially if we're not doing well. We're not going to overwork the kid.
Yeah, there's no point.
There's no point. He is a teenager.
Yeah, and especially if they were, I think he may have been in the KHL, but a lot of these guys, when they're playing juniors, I'm like, that's a huge jump. Like,
Michkov was in the KHL, which you're playing adults, but then again, last year he got benched because the fucking Russian fucking people that controlled those teams were just like, oh, he's gonna leave us. We're gonna fucking negatively affect his stock. Never did. But kids coming from juniors like Will Smith and Macklin Celebrini and
I think they both came from NCAA.
But still, it's such a huge fucking jump.
It is. But at least
even to the A though, like from NCAA and juniors to the AHL is a massive jump. And then you're going to go straight from juniors or the NCAA to the league.
Yeah.
Like NCAA probably is closer to the AHL than juniors are, because you still have like 23-year-old dudes. Like you have men playing in that league. But like the jump from there to the NHL is just like people say it all night and day, but it's not even night and day. It's like fucking different universes.
Yeah.
It's completely different fucking situations.
Yeah. And so I thought that was an interesting word to use. We like to overcook our prospects, and I think it's been an effective way of doing things.
And if people think Trevor Connolly is going to play next year, he's not.
No, probably not.
He will be in the A, and he'll come up in the league. Trevor Connolly's probably got the most potential of. He'd probably be the exception. He's got the most potential of any prospect we've ever had.
Well, I don't know if you saw, but I'm looking up right now and confirm.
Why do you think Jackson Hallam has been with Michigan for his entire career? Yeah, he's had a couple injuries, but they've let him stay there. They're not in a hurry to move guys up. Artur Cholak just made it to the ECHL.
So Trevor Connolly played his first game after coming back from that injury.
Yeah,
4 points, including the overtime winner.
Damn.
So talent. But yeah, I think
it's kind of like our scouts are pretty good.
Yeah, but what they didn't do is be like, oh my god, we lost Marchessault, we lost Stevenson. We're gonna draft this. We're just fuck it. We're gonna give him a ZLC and put him in there right now.
Why?
And be like, exactly. All right, kid, fucking the fate of the city rests on your shoulders.
That's what I hate about hockey fans so much. It's the overreaction.
Yeah.
Right? Of like losing a player.
I thought you were gonna say the overreaction of young players, first rounders not starting right away.
That too. No, 100% that too. Like I 100% agree with
various types of overreactions.
Like everybody's like Lane. Like again, nothing against the kid. I'm sure he's a perfectly nice kid, but man, the overreaction to Lane Hudson.
Yeah, that's just Montreal.
It's just Montreal. But like everybody thinking that Macklin Celebrini was gonna dominate and score. I'm like, no, he's on a bad Sharks team in a heavy division. Look what happened to Connor Bedard last year. Connor Bedard should not have won the Calder.
No,
both of you and I agree on this. It should have been Brock Faber. Brock Faber's a superstar. I saw a stat where it was. They're like, well, Brock Faber's not scoring as much. This, and that, but his defensive metrics this season are in the top 5 in the league.
Yeah, and look where the fucking team is.
That team is really fucking good, dude.
Yeah, like, well, he's not scoring as much. I'm like, well,
doesn't matter. He's smart. He knows what he needs to do as a defenseman.
Exactly. I'm like, plus Jared Spurgeon's back, so he's not playing fucking 28 minutes a night. Like,
exactly.
He's not the only top D-man anymore.
And you know what? The best part is Brock Faber's American.
Team America, baby.
But like, you have that talent, and he's like, I don't have to do as much as I did last year.
Yeah.
I can focus on my defensive game, but also pop in when I need to offensively contribute.
And that's kind of my philosophy on offensive defensemen. I'm like, obviously it's great when they contribute, but it's really more like, hey, we're doing just fine. Like, worry about your own end first.
Exactly.
But then sometimes if you need some extra offense, they can hop in. Perfect.
Yeah, and Faber's done that really well. But like, that's back to the point of like, you have to develop your players really like well. Again, we talked about this earlier in the week as about GMs and who's bad and who's not. Bill Guerin's a top 5 GM in the league.
Yeah,
I don't give a shit who you're like. Well, they haven't won yet. No, Billy Guerin's top 5.
I still have huge respect for him for buying out Suter and fucking Parisi.
Parisi, yeah, 100%.
Because it was needed. And people are like, well, yeah, but this huge cap penalty. I'm like, well, it took balls and.
Look what he's built from that. Though.
Exactly. Like he's reasserted control of that team because he didn't let it become like a Toronto situation where the players fucking run everything.
Kaprizov has been insane. Kaprizov's like a top 3. He's got like top 3 scoring in the league, maybe number 1 or 2.
Oh yeah, I feel like he's gonna win the fucking Hart Trophy.
Yeah, Brock Faber's been crazy. Gustafson's been really fucking good.
Yeah, he's bounced back.
And then Matthew Boldy's been incredible. Mm-hmm. Like they've got and then Kustadinov's not been like noticeable, but he's like a good player on the team. He's built this team to a point where we're like, oh man, this is a team that's deep and can win a cup.
And guess what? Next year the cap's going to jump by $4 or $5 million, and then
he's going to sign
cap
somebody.
Penalties are going to come off the books.
He's going to sign somebody.
And suddenly, this really rich UFA class, there's going to be at least 1 or 2 guys like, oh yeah, I'd love to play with Kaprizov.
Well, who wouldn't?
I'd love to play in a town where they love hockey. Yeah,
Well,
it's
they love
cold, but
I would love to
win.
play with Kaprizov and Gustafsson and Brock Faber and Matthew Boldy and Marco Rossi and all these guys. They're going to sign a big name defenseman. I guarantee you.
Easy.
Or they'll trade for one. I guarantee you. Like, and that's the thing that kills me, though. It's like, well, why don't players want to play in Canada? I'm like, it's because they're fucking shitty fucking media.
Shitty media, shitty.
Like, look at the teams that have won. Us.
Mm-hmm.
Our media isn't insane. The Avs, their media isn't insane.
Mm-hmm.
Florida, no media.
Florida, they don't even know there's a hockey team.
Sorry, Panthers. I know you guys are great. I know you guys are really good, but really no coverage of the Florida Panthers in Florida.
The fact that
Tampa Bay, same way, nothing.
The fact
St. Louis,
the fact that Kachuk was able to walk the cup to the beach and like no one stopped him to like take a picture. He's just like, oh yeah,
exactly, dude. Like that's what I mean. Like,
ask him if he gives a fuck.
Look at all these like these teams that have won in like the last fucking 20 years. It's the media that really puts too much on those teams and those players.
Yeah, and it's funny because I listen to a lot of hockey podcasts, and a lot of these, they're all run by like actual journalists, and a lot of them are Canadian, and I think they all realize that's the reason, but they all counter with like, oh my god, that's such a loser mentality. You should want the limelight. Ask anyone in the NBA, they love that shit and they eat it up. And I'm like,
they forget that the limelight
apples
to
oranges,
but they forget the limelight in the NBA is though is like LA,
actual limelight,
LA, New York,
yeah,
and Miami, and like these really actually great towns to be in. And then the limelight in the NHL is fucking Toronto, Ottawa, Edmonton. Fuck off, like dude. Like
for all this media pressure, your reward is that you get to live in fucking Alberta.
Would you rather live in Vegas or Ottawa?
Yeah.
Would you rather live in fucking beautiful Miami or Calgary?
Would you rather play somewhere where
would you rather live
facility...
in Denver? I know it snows there in Denver. It's close to Canada and yet, but beautiful city. We've been there a couple times. Beautiful downtown. A lot of things to do. Would you rather go live up in fucking Winnipeg. Montreal or Winnipeg?
Well, Montreal's pretty beautiful. But
Montreal's nice. We'll give them that. The city in Montreal and the people in Montreal, nice.
Hockey fans are fucking terrible. Insufferable.
But you know what we mean? Would you rather like live in these like thing like Montreal? I'm sure there's a ton of things to do. Toronto, don't get me wrong. Toronto, we did a few things in Toronto when I was in there when we went to Buffalo. Toronto's nicer than Buffalo, 100%. But
that's because that's like their main city in Buffalo's like small town number 20.
Yeah, exactly. But like, but no, like again, like, would you rather live in a like the media is a little bit there, like they're like, oh, we want you to win, but it's not like the pressure. You know what I mean? Like, Denver's got the Broncos and we've got the Raiders and Florida's got fucking the Dolphins and shit like that. Because
even then, even though. I think we have a very strong, healthy market and fan base, and there is
every game is mostly sold out.
Yeah, and I think there is a degree of pressure when you play here, if even if it's just from the knowledge that like management will fucking shit can you if you don't produce.
I think that's the only really thing of the pressure is the management, but look, the fans love you, the town loves you.
Yeah, well, even fucking Marchessault said it in that interview this summer where he's like, fucking, he even made that. That cracks me up every time I think of it. He's like, oh yeah, when you play in Canada, he's like, it's great, and the people love you if you're doing well. He's like, but my God, if you have a bad stretch, fucking, they fucking hate you. Yeah, he's like, every time I had a bad stretch in Vegas, he's like, if I ran into a fan, they were still very positive, like, oh hey man, you're so cool, thanks for hanging out. Oh yeah, I love watching you guys play. Like,
dude, I know we mentioned at the start of this recording. I ran into Aiden Hill in downtown Summerlin at Sportstown, whatever it's called, right outside of Dillard's on downtown Summerlin. Again, great shop. If you have a small head, they've got plenty of snapbacks. Jake and I do not have small heads. We can't wear snapbacks.
I got a big ass head.
They have a lot of cool hats if you fit into them. But I walk in just to go look at some gear and like look at some t-shirts and hats and see if I can find anything. And Aiden Hill was standing there, but he was watching the TV screen. I don't know if he was just there to hang out or whatever. I didn't notice that who he was because he was hanging out, just like watching, like hanging out with in the shop. And then two girls walk up. I'm like, oh my God, can we take a picture with you? And my head just snaps around. And I'm like, what? And I see him like, oh my God, that's Aiden Hill. And I'm like, And they take a picture, and I walk him like, hey, can we take a picture? And he's like, yeah. Take a picture, and I'm just like, oh, you played great in Edmonton. Like, you had a great game. They were like really pushing on you. He's like, oh, yeah, thank you. Like, I really appreciate it. Like,
yeah.
Like, that's what I mean. Like, you can talk to these guys in media, in cities and areas where like, oh, man, we're so happy to have you here. I'm so happy to have a team here. A professional team like the Golden Knights or guys like
we're not like oh my god, you had a bad game, so I'm gonna dox your wife on the internet.
literally,
yeah. And I was gonna say, who's granted the last game you played, which he returned to practice today, but the last game Samsonov played, kind of shit the bed, wasn't his best, but he had been playing really well before that, and I remain convinced it's because, the difference between being a goalie in Toronto and being a goalie in Vegas is vast.
He was pretty decent in Washington.
And, again, love him and all that, but, it can't be good for your mental health if every time you have a bad game, fucking Steve Dangle and his friends do a 2-hour podcast breaking it down.
No, absolutely. I agree. Like, it's so hard to do, but... Also, in Steve Dangle's defense, when we signed Samsonov because he was a free agent, they brought up I think I brought it up in another episode. They brought up his stats, since he's been in the league, he's actually a really fucking good goaltender.
He is, yeah.
He's got really good stats, and it's better than most of the league. And his couple bad years, maybe in Washington and Toronto, were years where the defense was fucking atrocious.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
He's got good numbers. He's a good goaltender. I mean, look at the game against Florida. He had a great game against Florida. Look at the game. He had a good game against. He played that first he didn't play that first LA game. Did Aiden Hill play that game? The 6-1 game. Where you beat them, or was it him? I think it was him. I think it was Samsonov.
I know he played the second one because that was his bad one.
I'm pretty sure he played the first one because they.
I think I did. I think he did because I think that was in the midst of the rotation. The rotation was off because they were trying to play Hill for
St. Louis and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah, I think he played that first one. In his defense, you play the second game, they have a book on you now, right? Because it's like a pitcher in baseball. Where they know your tendencies and
everything's fresh.
Yeah, they know what you're going to do.
They're basically we got a second shot here.
Yeah, exactly. And that game was about the defense played awful. He wasn't great, but you take those on the chin, right? Any team except for the Jets have a game like that, right?
Yeah.
Dallas lost to fucking Buffalo, dude.
Yeah.
It happens.
Long season.
Yeah, exactly.
82-game season, folks.
Yeah, and I think Sammy being back on the ice and back practicing is going to be good. Obviously Ian Hill's going to play tomorrow against the Canes, and Canes, dude.
I'll say, maybe we can start talking about the week ahead, but I'm just going to go ahead and say that that's like a scheduled loss. And I don't think it's going to be close, especially if there's no Eichel or Stone.
Well, I would hope Eichel plays, just because if it's a maintenance day.
Well, like I said, I'm not trying to speak anything into existence, but the last time they told us someone was having a maintenance day, Carlson missed 6 weeks. So
totally. Yeah,
maintenance days can get pretty sketchy pretty quick in this organization.
So we play the Canes on Monday, the Ducks on Wednesday, the Utah Hockey Club on Friday, and then the Capitals on Sunday.
Yeah, this is going to be
so it's a pretty busy week. So we got 4 games.
Dude, and then the week after that, back-to-back Toronto and
Ottawa.
That sucks.
Yeah, I'll be in fucking New Jersey.
Yeah,
the Canadians and the Flyers. Well, the Canadians, Flyers are winnable, and then you play the Avs and the Jets.
And then Utah again.
God, Utah again. Good Lord.
Yeah.
And then the Oilers on the third.
This is going to be a rough month.
Hey, if we can come out of that with...
If we can split the points on this month.
Yeah, if we can win... If we can come out of that stretch with half the points won, right? The Canes are probably going to be a very, very... Not probably. I wouldn't even say probably. They will be an extremely difficult game.
Like I said,
that team is good top to bottom.
I'm already writing that game off. I'm like, yeah, we're going to lose. I'm gonna guess.
I think
Samsonov will probably get in for the Anaheim game.
Yes, he played against. I don't know. He played against Anaheim. The first game we played them early in the season, and it was like a 3-1 game. Their one goal was a Troy Terry breakaway. I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know if they'll play him again because they have a book on him, possibly. But
Anaheim's dog shit, though.
Yeah, Anaheim is fucking terrible.
They can have as many books as they want.
All those books will be wrong. It's just gonna be fucking written in fucking.
They'll be collecting dust on the fucking bookshelf.
Mm-hmm.
And then Utah, I don't know. I think Utah's still dangerous.
Totally,
I know the record's not great right now, but and then Caps, I think
they've been so good.
Yeah, we've realized like I think the Caps might be good. The Caps
are
good.
It's not so much like the goaltending or anything. Cause they have average goaltending between Lindgren and Thompson. It's 100% the team in front of it. Ovi's been scoring. Strome has been assisting on everything.
Yeah,
Connor McMichael has been really good. The defense has been really solid. I think finally that game plan's come together under what's the goaltender's name? Not the goaltender's, sorry. Head coach's name. He played
Spencer Carberry.
Spencer Carberry has finally been able to get those guys to play what his game plan was.
Well, and I think it was really smart. The fact that they're like, our team identity is not going to be feed the puck to Ovi.
Yeah,
we're actually gonna be a relevant team. And then I think that Ovi's like lit up now, and everyone's lit up and rolling. And like, we're a good team. Fuck everyone,
No, the team's been solid.
We're not a pathetic sideshow.
You said it when we were projecting the standings. I think you and I were flipped on the Capitals. I think I was a little bit more negative, and you were like, "No, this team could probably make the playoffs." And you said, "No, this team's defense is actually pretty solid. That defense has been very, very good."
Mm-hmm. And then Thompson's having a good season so far.
Yeah,
I know his I don't know how it is now. His save percentage was kind of middling, but he had a really good GSA, so he's making the stops that he needs to.
Yeah, exactly. And but also the team is playing really well in front of him. That's the thing.
So. Yeah, as far as this week, I think we definitely need to win the games against Anaheim and Utah.
100%.
And then next week, might be ugly. We might be in for an ugly stretch.
Yeah.
Because Caps and then a back-to-back of Toronto and Ottawa.
Yeah.
And then we better win that Canadiens game.
God, I will blow my brains out in New Jersey if I don't win that Canadiens game.
Yeah, and then... I don't know if you saw, but Val Nutruson's coming back, so
the Avs might be decent. Yeah.
Yep.
I take that back. The Avs will not be decent. I don't know what to make of them.
I'm not going to say they're going to be decent in the standings, but they can beat us.
Totally
in a single game.
Yeah, I agree with Nichushkin back, but
because I don't care where they end up in the standings when I'm looking at the schedule. My first thought is, could they beat us on this night?
Yes.
And the answer is yes, because we're going to be on the road for like 2 weeks.
Yeah, no, November's
F1.
Yeah, November's rough, and F1's going to be here. That's the thing I told Victoria. I told my wife is like, hey, well, we're going to be in New Jersey. Guess what's going to be here? F1. We're going to miss all that bullshit. I'm like, yes, thank God. But we are going to.
Alex, what am I going to do without you?
I will message you. Go to Mojave. Go hang out. Drink some beers. I am going to go to a Rangers game. I wanted to go to a Devils game, but I'm not allowed to go to a Devils game apparently. But we are going to a Rangers.
So your wife is convinced that Newark is a war zone.
Newark's basically fucking the Gaza Strip right now.
Yeah, so you're gonna try to go to the game, and Tony Soprano's gonna come out and rob you.
Not even that. Fucking we're going to go to the game and some gangbanger is going to come out and fucking shoot us for a pack of fucking cigarettes.
Mobs of unwashed masses are going to, like, it cracked me up. You guys were talking, you're like, babe, you're like, a mob of people aren't going to attack fucking Prudential Center. Like, it's fine. We're going to a hockey game. We're not going to a fucking dive bar in some random corner.
Yeah, I looked at the crime statistics, and it was like, in the Prudential Center area, 95% of no calls for it's like just a generalized number, and then 5% of like calls, for like crimes or whatever. But the thing is, you're walking to and from the Prudential Center in a group of people going to the Devils game. No one's gonna do some shit because it's a fucking giant
To me, it's like saying I don't want to go to a game at T-Mobile because, you know,
there's a homeless man.
If you go 2 blocks off the strip, it gets a little rough. I'm like, yeah, well, no shit. That's literally every city.
Yeah, I know. Well,
like I said, when I was in New Orleans, and I walked from that
killed me.
When I walked from Frenchman Street down to the main area, I was like, oh, there's someone casually overdosing on heroin. I'll just cross the street.
No, you see it. Like when we went to we were up in Seattle. Now we went to the Winter Classic, but the year before we walked to something. I don't remember where we went, but there was a guy that had like his ear against the pavement, his like fucking legs up in the air, and I'm like, well, clearly that guy's fucking tweaking out of his mind. And Victoria's like, oh man, I'm like, the guy's just fucking a drug addict. Like, leave him alone.
Exactly. It's like I think people misunderstand. It's like, what do we do? It's like it's really easy. You just walk by him, don't acknowledge them, and then it's usually fine.
No, but we're gonna go to. I think we're gonna go to Rangers games. One of her friends. I'm excited to go.
It's still gonna be fun. That'll be very fun.
It's just way more expensive than the Devils game.
Yeah,
you're going to MSG, but that'll be a fun game.
But the Rangers have been a fucking
really
wagon.
Good, yeah.
And you know, I know we've talked shit before, but MSG, it's historic. It's
historic. You got to go. Like you got to experience.
You got to go see
the
cool roof. You know.
Yeah.
And then I see some celebrities there.
Maybe
fucking official NHL Instagram every Rangers home game. Like, oh my god, Liam Neeson's here. Fucking Keenan Thompson's here.
Yeah, I know everybody gives shit about Toronto. I'm like, I love that Justin Bieber is a fucking massive Toronto Maple Leafs fan.
Like,
you know what I mean?
That shit.
Yeah,
like,
you need those big fans. Everybody's like, well, Vegas has got all these celebrities. I'm like, so what? Like,
I'll say I love seeing Lil Jon at a game.
100%.
Yeah. I don't know how big of a celebrity he is now, but
big enough. Yeah. But like, God, we got way off topic there. But yeah, no. My recommendation is to everybody that I know listening to this. Maybe not many of you, and even you, Jacob. Go to games in other arenas.
Oh yeah,
that's something I've desperately wanted to do. You went to a game against Seattle.
Mm-hmm. That was very fun.
Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
I have never been to a Vegas game against an opponent, nor have I ever been to a hockey game just generally that's not Vegas.
Yeah, it's really fun, and I would love to go to a game where it's like, oh yeah, I just happen to be in the city and Vegas isn't playing, but I just want to go to the game and just experience.
Yeah, I'm excited. Yeah. We're going to go to the Rangers game. I don't care.
Who are they playing?
Great question. The Blues, I think.
Oh yeah,
so it should be a fun game. Yeah. I think the Rangers were playing the Canes. That's why I wanted to go to that game. But dude, not the Rangers. Sorry, the Devils were playing the Canes. The cost for a Devils ticket, like in the second deck, for like equivalent to Vegas, was like $15.
Yeah, that's insane.
It's insane to me. I'm like, you know what? I will risk life and limb to go to a $15 hockey game.
I'll risk whatever your wife's perception of that area is.
$15 too. Like that's insane. I might just go by myself. But like, no, like, and it's something that kind of kills me is like these teams that are good, right? Have like cheaper ticket sales and cheaper concessions. I love the team. I love Bill Foley. I love the Golden Knights. I love the players, but man, it's so expensive to go to a game.
It is, and I try to tell myself that it comes out in the wash because it was a privately funded arena and not paying taxes, and Bill Foley is not afraid to fucking throw around money for players and. But yeah, it is a little disheartening when you hear shit like, oh yeah, we can go for $15. I'm like, cool.
Congratulations.
Meanwhile in Vegas, try $75 for the nosebleeds.
Yeah, totally. No, I mean, again, you're paying for the experience and everything that comes with it, and obviously Vegas puts on a great show.
Nice new building. It's right on the strip.
Yeah,
the team's good. So the
team's great. I mean, like we said, we got a little off topic again, but like.
Man, don't apologize for that, Alex. We're just talking. This is how human beings talk.
This next little stint until we talk again, it's going to be a lot.
Yeah. I'll try to be optimistic. I'll be optimistic for now until I have a reason not to be. But yeah, Mark Stone and Jack Eichel need to be healthy.
And Victor Olofsson needs to come back soon.
And Nick Hague needs to come back and. Don't want those injuries to stack up. A little traumatized.
We can't let that happen. I I really hope Jack Heichel's just like a maintenance day and he's okay.
And I hope Mark Stone is actually day to day.
Day to day, yeah.
Because you can already see it. If he goes on IR,
yeah,
it's going to be a whole fucking thing of people bitching and moaning.
Well, already it was the thing. The news came out was Mark Stone was day to day. It's like, oh, LTR starting early. I'm like, no, guys, it's not the case. He probably just fucking strained something or twisted something.
That, and I'll be real here. I'm like, if Mark Stone goes on LTIR, we will miss the playoffs. We will not make the playoffs.
Likely, yeah. No, but think about that. Like, you and I, right now, if we, I was not hanging, but I was setting up some outdoor cameras today, and I came off the step stool, like, a little awkwardly. I'm like, oh, man, my calf hurt. This is me being a normal, like, not a calf, my quad hurt, being a normal, everyday guy. And Mark Stone's like, oh, man, my lower body is a little sore. Like, come on.
Yeah. So, like I said, I'll be optimistic until I have a reason not to be. But yeah, we got road heavy month. Yep. I think this is where we're gonna really see what this team is made of after a good start.
They've got to win
because it's a combination of things, right? It's the tough road schedule. It's being on the road so much. It's the quality of the opponents. And this is also the time of year where teams have cleaned up.
Yes.
It's easy. If you're a good team, it's really easy to win in the beginning of the year because everyone's still rusty. Teams don't know what they are yet. They're still correcting problems.
Yeah, we're going to be coming back. You don't think the Avs are going to be pissed off about the 8-4 win?
Oh,
you don't think Oilers are going to be pissed off about 4-2?
Exactly.
You don't think the Sens are going to be pissed off at us about winning 6-4? Like,
yeah, so it's going to be tough, and I think at the end, well, it's the classic deadline, right? American Thanksgiving.
Yep.
You know what your team is by then. You know who's a playoff team and who's not. Obviously, it's not set in stone, but generally...
It'll be close, yeah. It'll be harder to come back after American Thanksgiving than...
Let's just call it Thanksgiving.
Hold on to it.
Fuck Canada.
Yeah, fuck Canada.
But yeah, so Thanksgiving, that's the deadline, and then we have 2 games right after it, so...
Yep.
We'll see where we're at. I have faith.
I do too. I think this team can pull through it.
I don't know about you, but I don't think we're as good as our record is right now. But I still think we're a good team. I still think we're a playoff team.
Yeah, I totally agree. Like, the record's like really good, obviously, because like we have a great points percentage and a good record. I think we're just winning off as the scoring.
Yeah,
alone.
And that's going to dry up as teams,
totally.
Button down.
We have to button down too.
We do.
I think we can, though.
I would really love a long stretch of having less...
Like not 2-1, 3-1 games.
Exactly. Not fucking... Like, oh, yeah, well, we won these games. Well, how did you win them? Well, it was fucking 5-4, and we had to come back in the third period from a 2-goal deficit.
Or we lost 4-3 and got a point. Like,
yeah.
Yeah, you'd rather it be 3-1, 2-1, 1-0, 1-2, 2-1. You wanted these things to be close. Yeah, I totally agree with you. I don't think we need to be. It don't need to be like some offensive juggernaut by sacrificing defensive ability.
Yeah, we just need to play up to our ability, play smart, and again. I don't care about breaking offensive records. I don't care about point totals. Just find ways to win games consistently.
Agreed.
But other than that, no, I think that's about it. I think we did it.
Yeah, I think that's it. I mean, it's going to be a strong test overall this week, and then we'll come back next week with what's going on. Oh, real
holidays
quick.
Are coming up, folks.
The Silver Knights are bad. We won last night in a dominant fashion, and then we lost today.
Yeah, so
4-0.
Silver Knights are bad. They picked up Lucas Johansson. He didn't play.
He did not play. He'll play, and he'll play in the next game.
To me, I'm like, I guess Cormier and Seedorf are just dead.
Well, I'm a season ticket holder. Obviously, I think we've mentioned it before, and we talked.
Obviously,
we talked to there was a point where the players were coming around talking to everybody, and Seedorf actually was out there like talking to players. He's like, "Oh, I'm just getting healthy, feeling better to get back in the lineup. I'm just working." So it sounds like he's like working to get back in the lineup, but also he is so goddamn young.
Yeah, he's good.
Like,
Well,
when
like
he
we
was
said,
talking to us, that boy, I looked at the boy's face. I'm like, boy, you are fucking 20 years old.
Well, because he wasn't even supposed to play for Henderson last year. He was playing for Savannah. Then he got called up, and then he was so good. They're like, yeah, we can't send you back down.
Yeah, he's a young child. Like,
yeah.
And then Cormier, I don't think he's even skated yet.
Nope.
But we won 8-3, I think, last night.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, thank God, we scored fucking more than nothing. But then we turn around the next day.
Get shut out.
Get shut out, right? And
I think
it's not going to be a playoff year with the Silver Knights.
I was going to say, like, I hate to be pessimistic, but Henderson's already cooked.
It's going to be a fun season just to dick around and have a good time.
Go to the games, folks. Have fun.
Get in there for a couple, $20.
In a weird way, it's kind of nice to watch hockey without feeling the pressure.
Right.
Right. You're not like, oh my God, we need to beat this fucking team. You're just like, oh no, I'm just here to watch. And
you're here to watch and see the prospects. I do think
Joe Fleming pops someone's head off, and you're like, yay!
I do think Joe Fleming has a future on the Golden Knights. I do think that Kai Uchas, Matthias Apavilov will have a future with the team. Just, based off of what they've shown alone. But other guys and just the team alone, I'm like, I'd rather be a good, again, we've said this probably about 10 times. I'd rather be a good NHL team competing for a cup than a good AHL team winning the Calder.
While the big team is fucking floundering. It's the natural life cycle. So
look at the Hershey Bears. They've won they won 2 in a row.
Yeah.
And the Caps 1 year were bad, and the year after that they got fucking their dicks fucking beaten to the wall by the Rangers.
They have not won a round since they won the cup.
Exactly. So give or take things. But until then, we'll talk about the Golden Knights again in a week. We'll have another full week of discussion. And then maybe we'll have a call-in episode where we talk about the Rangers.
All right.
We'll figure how to set that up.
It'll be fun.
It'll be a good game. But until then, stay gold, everyone. Stay safe. Have a good Thanksgiving and good week.
Yep. Stay warm. Stay safe. Love your fellow man. And stay gold.
Stay gold. Love you guys.